Hey everyone, welcome to Automation. So today I'm going to be creating objectively the best car possible. We're going to be making it in the holy year of 2012, which the automation gods have blessed us with, and of course it's going to be the 1985 convertible body. Now for materials, this is peak performance. Don't let anybody tell you differently. We've got steel, ladder, steel, transverse engine placement, which is given to us from on high. We have leaf front suspension and leaf rear suspension, just the way it was intended to be. Because we're dealing with only perfection today, I'm going to have to create a new engine because none of my previous engines have been perfect. And for this car, I don't know. I think front wheel drive is probably the most holy of the drives, so we'll go with an inline 4 perhaps, the best kind of inline. And of course it's going to be made with cast iron, and it should probably have a really high stroke. 1 liter sounds good to me. Of course the engine is going to have push rods and again be cast iron as well. Internally it's all cast, but we'll turn up the quality all the way to see what that does. Coming over to compression cam profile on that, we will skip that for now and come back. Of course it's going to be turbocharged with journal bearings as they were intended to be. Fuel economy preset because we want a really tiny turbo on there. Why would you want anything bigger? Carburetor, of course, single barrel, single carb, standard intake with a turbo. It's perfection at its finest. And only heathens use leaded fuel, so we'll be using regular fuel for this build. We'll just skip this stuff for now, come back to it later. Short cast headers, just the way it was meant to be, and of course, baffled two-way, exactly how I like it. That's 6 horsepower. I think we can do a little bit better than that. In our search for perfection, I'm turning up the quality on the internals all the way. We may as well spam the quality sliders while we can. And of course, what I want to do here is turn the RPM up all the way, so we have nice knock all the way up at the top. Alright, so I've run through the tune, and I think we've come to a place that I am satisfied with. Perfection is slightly flawed here, but it is still indeed perfect. 1% knocking, not a big deal. So we have compression down pretty low, cam profile sort of just midway. Skip VVT in that, we don't need it. Like I said before, turbo with journal bearing, still the fuel economy preset, but we have high boost, high air ratio, definitely helping with our 65 horsepower. We went over this before, but the fuel mixture is up on high, ignition is at 100%, RPM limit all the way up at 12,000, as it was intended to be. The exhaust is 200 millimeters, and we have a lot of baffling, so this thing is going to be perfectly quiet, even when it reaches its peak power at 4600 RPM. I see absolutely nothing wrong with this, and I really think this engine is going to work out excellently for this build. Now of course I'm going to be going with the 1985 convertible, but the body shape as is not quite peak perfection that we're going for. The best car ever made needs to be a little bit better than this, so what I'm going to do is sort of morph the body in a way that makes perfect sense for this build. Maybe, just maybe, I can achieve greater perfection because of it. Okay, I think I got it to a place where I'm satisfied. I believe that this might be the optimal shape for aerodynamics. With that huge trunk, you'd be able to fit a lot of dead bodies in there, and then the front area as well seems to be pretty well suited for the aerodynamics of this vehicle. Plus, it's a one massive door, so you don't even need to bother with the 4 doors. You just put all your people in the back seats as well. And as always, you want that body quality all the way up. Now, in terms of color, we need to keep up with the community here. We need to make sure that this is as gold as it can be. That is looking pretty decent right there, with the highest possible flake, highest possible shine, a nice yellow. And the trim, of course, should definitely be something that sort of matches with that. How about sort of a dark purple maybe? If it's going to be objectively the best, we need to pick the best colors as well. And the rims, we may as well paint those purple as well. That's looking pretty much exactly how I want it. And the cloth top, purple, it's perfect. I went ahead and changed the cloth top back into cloth. I accidentally made it metal, but there you go. That is a nice leathery purple there. Now I have all vanilla fixtures here, so we can only pick from what the game really intends for us. And that means that we're going to need to go ahead and put on the classic Lexus grille. And of course it's going to be the spiderweb one. Oh yeah, no, that is exactly what I wanted to see. And now, as you would probably guess, we need the Nike switch in there somewhere. This video is 100% sponsored by Nike. Oh yeah, no, that is exactly what I was going for. This is going to be the best. Actually, it already is the best car ever made, so yeah, I don't think you can improve on perfection like this. And of course we need some lights to complement the bottom area here as well. So we'll just slap some of these on, and yeah, that should work just like that. Okay, for a car like this, we need some major front downforce. It's going to have a lot of speed to deal with, so we should probably try and fit some sort of diffuser on here, if that will even fit onto it. Oh, that's not looking too bad. Okay, so I went ahead and changed everything to black because of course it should be black, except for the little bit of chrome in there. That's just gonna have to stay how it is, but I'm really liking the way that this front end looks. It's pretty much perfect, but hey, let's just add a little bit more to it to achieve that perfection that we're going for. We just need some lights right in here. Ah yeah, there it is right there. You can never have too many lights, so we may as well go ahead with that. And how could we get away without putting a massive piece right here? Of course we need another little vent right in there just to complete the look. It fills it out perfectly. And while I'm here, I may as well start duplicating these lights, because let's be honest, you can never have too many. There you go, that'll brighten up your day. Okay, let's focus on the side profile just a little bit. One thing I was thinking that we probably need is some sort of styling rims here to go with the build. Of course they have to be, well, something that matches the modern youth, but also brings back that style from the old days of cars. This thing is a 2012, remember? The world was ending in that year. Oh goodness, I wish it did. Of course, we can't get by without some serious side skirts, so these are going to be painted yellow, I guess. That's the only color option we have. Either way, they're going to be big and bold. Make sure to show off the beauty of this beast. Oh, you know what? I kind of skipped ahead a little bit. We should probably finish designing this front end. I'm thinking that we might need some sort of scoop for this engine. It is a lot of power. It needs that intake on there just to make sure that it gets the air that it needs. Oh yeah, that's going to work great like that. The car is performing what is currently said by the youth as a big suck. Yeah, that's exactly what this is. Oh, you know what we need on there? I think it's got to have a dragon. This car is in line with the beautiful mythical creatures of the past. Well, they would definitely want to be friends with this if it was back in those days. And of course we need to have the dragons on the side too, because how could we not? We need to express the heritage of this car. You know, lately I've been really liking the mono wiper, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do the same sort of technique with this. After all, it is a race car, so it does need to have as aerodynamic a setup as possible, which kind of means that it should be able to get away with this really tiny wiper here. That's really all you need on a race car. You're probably going to want big mirrors so you can see your competition behind you with this thing, because it's just so wickedly fast. Like, it's probably going to be the fastest car I've ever made. But you know what this really needs though? It's those classic style mirrors, just to mimic the style of the past. Alright, continuing on, door handles, of course we need some of those. Now we could go for that classic fridge door style, but I think we need to be a little bit more modern than that. Maybe Miata style door handles would work out for us. Something just like that. And of course they can't be that color. They do have to be black in some way. It just fits the whole front end and the rest of the colors together. Alright, so we have a lot of space to work with on the back, and I'm pretty sure I need to fill this out with something good, because of course this is the best car ever made. So let's go ahead and just use one of these pre-made things right here. We'll just slap that thing on. It's gonna work perfectly for this anyways. It's made by the devs, so this is how it was meant to be used. And you can see there it's got a couple of extra lines on it. That's definitely intended and will 100% work for this. Okay, so I saw these pink lights and I really couldn't pass them up. I think we might need to use just a few of these. However, thinking about it now, this is a very modern look. Obviously 2012, a very modern year. We probably need to bring back some of that classic modern year look, but also have a look from years past as well in there. Yeah, this makes 100% total sense. And I'm gonna 100% again stick to what I'm saying. Oh no, that's gonna work out just like that, I think. Maybe the rounded version? Ooh. You know what? This actually kind of matches the front just that little bit more. And of course I'm not gonna bother touching the colors or anything, because why would you put extra effort into something that is already perfect? And this car could probably use a bit of a spider web on the back, because again, it's got a web on the front, so it should have one on the back too. I'm just gonna go ahead and make this bigger. Yeah, just like that. That is exactly what we needed. And once we paint the outside that color, it's just coming along perfectly. And now we have the Eye of Sauron back here, so we should probably fill that in so we don't get copyright strikes. I'm thinking one of these headlights will probably do. Actually, you know what? One of these taillights with the little nuclear symbol on it, just showing how deadly this car is in races. That's pretty much exactly what we should be going for here. And of course we need a license plate representing what this car represents. I guess that should probably, yeah, just like that. Actually, that fits exactly how I would have wanted it to. Alright, just as a cruel joke to our competitors, let's make sure to add a couple more of these nuclear symbols on the back here. Maybe just on the sides. Something like this will probably ward them off from the back. It's not like they were ever going to get close anyways, but just in case. And you know what they say, the more fixtures you add, the better the car is, so I'm just going to go ahead and add a couple more on there. Yeah, just like that. It's coming together. Of course, we're going to need to get a good radio signal on this car, so we've got to have some sort of antenna on the back. Just make that nice and large, easy to see. And then of course, again, we need a spoiler of some kind, or a wing, or possibly both. I'm thinking these spoilers are going to work out just right. However, that's not quite working out as I intended. Sometimes you just have to roll with it, I guess. The game is not letting us do that the way that it should be, so I'll just have to improvise a little bit and instead aim for partial perfection by putting on one of these old classic Porsche wings here. It is far too good for this car to pass up. Alright, admittedly the Porsche wing was not perfection, but this wing here is, that is the most perfect wing I've ever seen for this build. It's exactly as I wanted it to be. Alright, so what else are we missing on here? What other cool things can we add to achieve perfection? Now, you know, I feel like the more fixtures I add, the better this car is going to be, so just give me a couple minutes here. I'm going to put some more things on here, and I think this car is just going to get even better. Alright, so I've done a few just little cosmetic touches to just bring everything together. We have nice color matching exhaust, a big turbo badge on the top. We have a lovely name for it. It's called the Turbo 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 Turbo. I also added a spider to the roof because it's a spider. And then I made the dragon sit on a little mountain because that's where dragons are. They live in mountains. And then I added a fuel cap so you can actually put fuel in the car. And I added some trunk breathers here so that the people in the back can breathe. It'd probably be better for them. Alright, I think we are good to go here. Let's go ahead and decide what kind of drive type we want. I'm pretty sure it's going to have to be front wheel drive, and then it's going to need to be a 4-speed auto as well, because how could it not be? You know, more speed is always good, so let's crank it up to 900 k's an hour. The faster we go, the better, of course. It's probably going to be faster than that. And since we have so much speed, I'm thinking we can probably get away with maybe lowest possible spacing. That could be good. And then differentials, we don't even need those. Of course, the quality's got to be all the way up. Cross-ply tires are the best way to go for something that's aspiring to be as vintage as this. However, we'll see what we can do with the largest wheels that we can get. Unfortunately, they seem to be quite small. Yeah, so if we go for 10-inch rims, we can get away with some pretty beefy off-road wheels. However, I think I'm just going to go radial for the sake of our rims. We want to be able to show these things off as much as we can, and that means having massive wheels. Okay, with our current setup, we have a nice 650 tire diameter with 22-inch rims, and really, you can see that purple shine. That is really nice. For handling purposes, I've decided to make the front rims super wide out and leave the back ones nice and tucked in. It's gonna handle so good, just wait. Okay, so brakes, obviously we need drum brakes, there is no other question here, and we may as well make them massive as well because, well, it'll fill up the gaps on our wheels if nothing else. 420 mils sounds good to me. Under tray, let's go for downforce. This thing needs to stay on the ground. It's gonna be gripping that ground so well with those tires, and we'll probably need more quality. As you would suspect, it's going to be handmade. Gotta have a bench seat in the front so we can fit as many people in there as possible. Luxury infotainment, quality all the way up. Power steering, sure. Safety, yes. Now in chassis, we already picked out leaf springs, which are absolute perfection. So we'll go ahead and make them comfort leaf springs with a semi-active preset. And then we'll also want to go for a comfort preset on the suspension as well once we get it working, because unfortunately the tires have blown. Okay, looks like our precious rims were just a little bit too big, so I'm gonna go ahead and make them even bigger. They're still blowing. Oh no, there it is. That's exactly what we needed. We've got massive wheels on the back and pretty large wheels on the front as well. That's pretty much perfect. As I said before, this car is going to handle extremely well. Just wait. Alright, so before the grand reveal, I thought I'd just show off this magnificent curve here. Look at that gearing right there. Top speed of 18 kilometers an hour, and the car just loves it. all the way down 0 to 100 in 999 seconds. The game can't even comprehend how fast this car is. Alright, back over to here. Our drivability, 98%. I don't know why the game is docking us 1.9%. I think it's just broken. Same thing with sportiness, that 84.1. Like, where is our 15.9%? I don't know, game. I think you might have a few issues with this beta. But overall, things are looking pretty darn good here. Everything is fine. Our lovely brakes are exactly the strength they need to be. Didn't even have to adjust them. And look at that, up to 18 kilometers an hour. We have 0.3 kilos of downforce. That is exactly what we want. Oh, and understeer, that's perfect. And there you go. Look at that beauty. Jacked all the way up as it should be. This thing is a heck of a race car. I'm very excited to see how it drives. Gotta take a look at this fuel economy. Oh, look at that. We've got 38.9 liters per 100 kilometers. Yeah, that's about average. Don't worry about that. And the cost is only $7.5 million? Yikes, this thing is a bargain. Alright, let's try this beauty out in Beam. I'm sure it's gonna drive like a dream, so I'm getting kind of excited. Let's see if it even works. Yeah, I'll take 2 servings of bleach. Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm supposed to be, doing this video. Let's go ahead and just drive around the turbo, so you can see what I'm talking about when I say that this is perfection. This is the best car ever created, and the reason is pretty easy to spot. Yeah, you can see the back tires are flat, as they're supposed to be. We're also in a parking lot because the car is not street legal. It can't get past 20 kilometers an hour, but hey, the streets are for regular cars. This is where the real cars are, in the parking lot. But look at that, 20 kilometers an hour like it's nothing. The turbo is indeed the best. Now look at that superior handling. Look at this thing. You can pull into a parking space from a meter away, just like that. Ooh, perfect for crawling the malls. This is exactly what it was made for. Acceleration is blisteringly fast. This first gear is so tall you can go just as fast in reverse as you can in forwards. Alright, let's try and do a few stunts with this thing. Stunts like going over the curb. That's probably going to be something that's a little bit hair-raising for some. This might scare a few. Oh, okay. That was a bit shocking. And downhill we go. Look at that. 30 kilometers an hour. Can you believe it? That's probably the fastest any car has ever gone. It seems like the turbo is indeed still the best. You know what's better than one of these cars? 2 of them, and that's because they only ever made 2. Because it's very difficult to make perfection. But they both just happen to be at the gas station, which is surprising considering how good the mileage is on this car. And would you look at that, this one just happens to be moving out onto the streets. That's where all the normal cars drive, so be careful out there. And maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to take on the highway, although somehow I doubt it, just because the traffic is too heavy there. This car needs to be free. Why would you ever want to go faster than 21 kilometers an hour? This is the perfect speed. And look at that, we pass by the pumps that give us oil. These things are what fuel these beasts. Thank goodness for them, otherwise we wouldn't have cars like this. Oh, and popping it into low range, 8 kilometers an hour up the hill. Look at that torque go, goodness. This might be the fastest car I've ever seen. I don't know if you saw the weight of this car, I didn't really point it out, but it's just under 1900 kilos, as was intended. That's what happens when you have a body fully charged with steel, a nice ladder frame, all the good stuff. Well, here we go, just driving along as is. Looks like we're actually going to be able to get off of the highway now. And, oh, what is this? A heathen has decided to attack us? Okay, some person in a red Bugo seems to be right on our tail here. I don't think they realize what they're messing with, though. I don't think that they're going to be able to take this kind of power and speed. However, they are giving a pretty good boost here, up to 26 kilometers an hour. I guess with 2 cars working together, one of them perfect. Only goodness can happen. And would you look at that, we left them in the dust. Gone is our adversary. Hello to the new world. Oh, never mind, here they come. So I think I might have lost them, but I'm just gonna duck into here just in case. Just to be sure. And then I'll know for certain. Oh. Okay. Guys, I have a confession to make. I think I've been lying to you this entire time. The turbo is not the best car ever made. That title goes to the Bugo. This car is perfection in every possible manner. It is the perfect car, and it has in fact defeated the previous perfect car, which further increases its perfection. Just look at how fast it is. Goodness, 30 kilometers an hour? Those are speeds not even reached by that previous perfection. There is nothing that can top the elite, original Bugo. Well, now this video has come to a satisfying end. Hopefully you enjoyed. Oh yeah, check the date. You might understand what's going on. I wasn't kidding about that last part though. I really do think that the Bugo is the best of the best, at least in some ways. Time for a genuine thank you for those who have chosen to support the channel. We have Canadian Steel, Overlord, Dr. Ivo, That Rice Dude Explorer, QT Bear, McLovin Plays, Terry Williams, The Most Random Person, Sick D Cars and Stuff, Boris Ramirez, Daniel, and Justin. Thank you so much for your support. See you guys again later this week as we continue on with my summer car.